The strawberry wine is done. It's bottling day of this strawberry wine. Do you see how clear this is? I can't wait to get this racked, taste it, and finish it up. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to this series. I think we're on video like number 7 or 8 where we're digging into the weeds and getting into the fine details. This video is all about back sweetening your wine, bottling your wine, and also about the professional corker that so many have asked for me to put a video. I think I decided to put it in this one. Let's just stop the rambling and get into back sweetening, bottling, and finishing this series up. Well, there might be one more.
How'd you like to get dangerous? I think you and me could take a little time. We could sail the seas and get wilder. We could get a little wild.
So what we're trying to accomplish in this video is we're going to teach you how to back sweeten this the easy way. There's a complicated way. I got a whole video, but I want to show you the easy way for my beginners. There's also different ways to sweeten it. You can use regular sugar, which is my preferred method. You could even use a maple syrup if you want. A lot of you always ask, can I use stevia or some artificial sweeteners? You sure can. The problem is nobody knows how that's going to age. So because nobody's aged it for more than 5-10 years. So that's my concern is I always go to sugar because it's never failed, it ages well, and it's cheap. That's what we're looking for. We want to make this hobby cheap. And I also want to cover the bottling. I had a bunch of people ask, can you show more details of your corker? So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a little bit of that. We're going to cork these. Now, a lot of you also ask, do you have to back sweeten your wine? Absolutely not. If you want a dry wine, this is perfect. A couple of these steps you'll be able to skip. I'll show you as we go which ones. But if I can give you any suggestion when you're making fruit wine, is just sweeten it up, even if just a little bit, because it's going to bring out that fruit flavor. You talk about this strawberry wine being potent after I add a little bit of sweetener, it's going to be over the top. Now, what we want to do is we want to get some sugar weighed out, or measured out in this case, and I want 1 cup per gallon of wine. This is a 3-gallon batch, so I'm going to measure out 3 cups. As you go, you may use less, as I could probably do, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. You don't have to add all this, for sure. There we go. I need a little bit more. Now all we're going to do is add our 3 cups of sugar, 1 cup per gallon, and I'm going to get 3 cups of water. And there's our 3 cups of water. And we're just going to create a simple syrup. That's all this really is. We're going to stir this until it becomes crystal clear. All right, you see how clear this is? That's what you want. You don't want to boil it. You don't want to burn your sugar. You just want to make sure it's clear. If you're not scraping sugar, it's done. Turn the heat off and let it cool to room temperature before adding it to your wine. Now, before we rack this wine, we want to get some things sanitized. You want to sanitize your corks. You want 4 to 5 corks per gallon of wine. So I think I got like 15 or 16. Put a couple extra in if you want. And then all you want to do is add some sanitizer to that. I already mixed up my sanitizer. Make sure you're sanitizing everything, especially at this stage. We're going to sanitize the easy way. You've seen me do this. I got a whole video on this thing here. This is a bottle sanitizer. And I'll show you how we're going to use that. We're just going to fill our bowl up here with sanitizer, just like that. I'll have that locked down, there we go. And all we're going to do is push down on this, and it's going to send a jet of sanitizer up into this thing, just like that. That's the easy way to sanitize bottle, and it's all included in this. This is where you put your bottles then. This is the easy way. Now, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way and you have dirty bottles, I like to clean my bottles before I put them away for my next use. So I know these bottles are clean, but if you don't, you can just do it the old-fashioned way, just like this. That's too much work anymore. I like my bottle sanitized washer. This is a lot easier. If you want any of this equipment, I got it all listed in my Amazon store. It's a one-stop shop for you. Now, one thing I wanted to say, also in the bottling stage, when you're getting your bottles, reuse bottles. These are reusable bottles I bought wine in at some point, and I just keep reusing them. It makes it so much cheaper in the hobby. Once you get your bottles, you're not going to need any more, or get people to save them for you, which is what I do. This is usually Laura's job. She ain't here today. I'm sure she'll make it for the tasting, and that's it. You see how much faster that was? I love this thing here, and I especially love this drying rack. I know you've heard me say that thousands of times. Now let's get into some of the additives you need when you're back sweetening your wine. One that you have to do, whether it's dry or not, is you need sodium metabisulfate or Camden tablets. This is just going to help prevent any bacteria from growing in your bottles. This is a must whether you're drinking a dry wine or a semi-sweet. That's number one. And number two, if you're back sweetening it, you need potassium sorbate to stabilize your wine. This is going to help prevent any fermentation from starting up and the potential to blow corks. If you're adding any sweetener, use potassium sorbate. And also make sure all my recipes you see on this channel are in this book. I give you great details, what additives to use, and explain everything in great detail. Fermenting flavor. I'm so proud of this book, can't you tell? Now, if you're using Camden tablets, this is just the simpler form of this, the sodium metabisulfate. You want 1 per gallon. This is a 3-gallon batch. I would put 3 of these in. I got this powder stuff that dissolves a little bit better, especially in the bottling stage. And this is so cheap as well. So for a 3-gallon batch, I need to have 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is a quarter of a teaspoon. So I only want about half of that. That's it. Now, the other ingredient I told you is potassium sorbate. It's stabilizer. We want a 1/2 teaspoon of this per gallon. So I'm going to put 3 in here. Now, if you're making a dry wine, again, this might not be needed as long as you're sure all your sugar has been converted to alcohol. That's it. All right, I got my sanitized racking cane. Get this airlock off. I got my bucket down there with the additives. Remember, that's a sanitized bucket. I sanitized that before I put it down there. So what I got is I'm going to put the hose down in my bucket and this in here. And then we'll get our siphon going. You've seen us do this 100 times by now, I think. All right, there we go. It's going down in our bucket. Now, the reason we're putting it into a bucket is because it's going to be easier for us to sweeten it up, add our sugar water. But let me tell you, it smells just like strawberries. Now, when we get down here to the bottom, we want to watch that sediment. You want to stay away. Don't get any of that bentonite in here. Now, your racking cane has a special tip on it, which will go down into your bentonite a little bit, but slowly tilt this as you go. We're just trying to get that wine off of the top. You see this slider go up into your racking cane, stop. It's okay to waste a little here. That's it, I'm stopping. You see that sludge? Don't do it. Don't try and get every drop. It's your finished product. You want to look like a professional. All right, you see I covered this. I keep this lid on every time because remember, oxygen is your enemy at this point. So keep it covered as much as you can. You have time to work, so don't worry about that. So now remember, we got the additives in here. We want to stir those in a little bit. So here we go. I got them additives at the bottom. So I'm just stirring it ever so gently. We're going to stir this as we add our simple syrup. So don't worry, this will get incorporated. That's plenty. Now, the fun. A lot of times, this is the first time you're tasting your wine for the first time. So that's what it's exciting. Don't be afraid to taste it, though, in different steps. I show you that many times. So there's our simple syrup. I know about how much I'm going to need of this. I try and cut it back a little of each time because of the sugar in here and, you know, our diabetic friends and so forth. So I'm going to just start with about half of this, and then we're going to stir it and we're going to taste it. This is where it's fun. Before I put that simple syrup in, you could do a dry one. Do 2 or 3 bottles, then add your syrup, mix it, get some semi-sweet, and then you could put more in to get a sweet. You can have many different levels here. All right, so here's my sanitized straw. I always use a shot glass, and I'll just put 2 drops in here and see, I'm checking it for sweetness. Oh my God. The strawberry is insane, but I know it ain't sweet enough. So repeat the process. Add, stir, and test. There we go. That's probably about half. This is one of my favorite wines. Yes, the recipe is in the book. I think I got a couple videos too that it's in there. I think maybe a little bit more. Man, you really taste that strawberry. Might do a half of this yet. Let's try that. Do this the way you want. After this, we're ready for bottling. Yeah, I think that's perfect. That is going to age fantastic. On to the next step. The only thing I'm going to do is get a siphon going. I got my bottling tip. If you're in this hobby to stay, get a bottling tip. Much better than funnels. And make sure you get a bin to put all your wine bottles in, because you know you're going to overfill this. Look at that color. It is beautiful. Now all we want to do is fill these, and then we're going to show you how to cork these with my professional cork. Another highly recommendation on a piece of equipment to get, again, if you're staying in this hobby. Beautiful strawberry wine. I love this stuff. I might have to enter one of these into the fair. I don't think I've ever entered a strawberry. It's just, it's almost, oh, see there, I just overfilled it. I hate to do that. I hate to waste wine. We worked hard to get it to this point. All right, let's go over this Portuguese professional corker, which I highly recommend on this channel. It's got this floating thing here for your longer bottles. It's got this adjuster right here to set how deep you want your corks in. Remember, you want to keep them flush. It's made of high quality steel. This thing is not gonna break. It's got an extra long handle for leverage so anybody can put corks on any size in any one of these bottles. And all you do is load your cork. I love number 9 corks. You put your bottle in just like this, and there's a little lip under here to make sure it's stable, and you just pull the handle down and it drives that cork right in. I can't say enough. If you're gonna make wine, get the professional corker. I don't know if you can see that, but that's perfectly flush. That's what you're shooting for. Now all I'm gonna do is cork the rest of these, and then I'm gonna show you how many we got and what this looks like. And we gotta do one more thing, maybe 2 more. Again, this is in my Amazon store, along with everything else you see on this channel. There it is. That's 15 bottles we got out of this batch, but especially look, can you see the color in this? It is spectacular strawberry red. You're gonna love this, but we're not done yet. When you get to this finish where you corked everything, you wanna make sure you're sanitizing the outside of all your bottles. You saw where some of that wine dripped out over these things. You don't want any of that on the outside, which could collect bacteria and so forth. So be the professional and finish these by wiping them all down. Now the last thing is you want to do is you want to put your bottles in some kind of a container just in case they leak. You want to leave them like this for about 7 to 14 days. Once that happens and you have no leaks, you're good to put it in your wine rack. Now that's a wrap. Well, almost. I gotta go clean my mess up in the kitchen. I can't leave that for Laura. That's disrespectful.
Dangerous. I